welcome back to the Gray Space. I'm Zeke. That is Dre over there.
Yippers.
And we got another one for you guys this week.
Y'all know what to do, man. Subscribe to become part of the tribe. Do us right. Hit that like and comment because you are rocking with the content. Now,
and we got little flashy things. I know for our audio listeners, you can't see the little. We're throwing a little party in here, you know what I mean? I don't know how that's coming out on the camera. It's kind of interesting, man. Anyways, your middle one went to a little
miniature
golf that was glow in the dark, you know, yada yada. She got everybody in the household one of these little necklaces that light up and do a little LED dancing flashing light thing, man. They're actually kind of cool, man.
Yeah,
like legit, they're kind of cool, you know.
It's pretty dope.
But yeah, man. So we told her we wear it on the podcast for her.
Yeah, we're gonna rock it. We're gonna rock it. You know what I mean?
We got our Flava Flav.
Yeah, this is our Flava Flav right here.
Right?
Flavor,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a little bit bigger. We'd be right there with it, man.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have the time, but you know.
I mean, we
could rave it out.
Yeah, let's just rave it out. Dude.
Something about raving. You know what I mean? You know, man.
Shoot, man.
Yeah, man. Another week in the books.
Yep.
Shoot. You know, this year is coming off to a interesting start. And you know, some things have been happening. First of all, I want to kind of go back to not our last episode, but the episode before that, our first episode of the year. It's the celebration. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Damar Hamlin. He made it out the hospital, and is recovering, and has been to the Bills facility, and he's out moving and grooving again. Mm-hmm. So, man, big old ups to that, man, for sure. I'm glad that, you know, he's out of that, and
he's got the road to recovery.
On the road to recovery, man,
sure.
And we're definitely going to be here for the, you know, for the story of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
See what happens. Mm-hmm. But there's been some other stories.
Okay. All right.
Okay, and
what you got?
One of these is a little bit old. One of these part of last year. One of these is literally a part of the new year. The celebration, New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. So these two stories I feel like kind of connect. Okay. Here's why. Before I get into the stories, this whole thing is about standards, bro.
Okay.
Now, we know in this world, there are double, triple, quadruple standards.
Oh, for sure. Ain't that truth? Yep.
Right? And some of them you understand. Mm-hmm. You don't like it, but you're like, okay, it is what it is, right? Like, oh, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Those type of things. Yeah. You're like, okay. But at the same time, if you're in the position to help your friends out, you're going to do so, right? But there's some where you're like, come on, bruh. And this has been a long-standing thing in the media. We hate to, or they don't like to, report on everything.
Oh, yeah.
The way they do on other things. Mm-hmm. So case in point, Kyrie posted something and got grilled for it. And okay, fine. You're allowed to feel the way you feel. You're allowed to be on either side of that coin. Mm-hmm. No matter how you feel. You are allowed to feel how you feel about the situation, no matter how it is. Right. If you're this or that, you're allowed those feelings. That's fine. Man apologized. Still kept talking about it for another month and a half. Mm-hmm. We're still talking about it now. Mm-hmm. This has been what? Probably 4 months now?
Yeah.
It's been a few months.
Yeah.
Another guy that's, I don't know, kind of famous, maybe a little famous, probably like a Hall of Famer, a Hall of Famer. Okay. Another guy steals money from welfare, people who need welfare, to help his daughter out. Mm-hmm. Nobody talks about it. I mean, it goes like it. The story was out. Nobody talked about it for months. Then when they did, it was like, shame on him. Then they didn't talk about it again. Mm-hmm. Like, we should still be like grilling this guy, Weber. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Traeger. You know what I mean?
Right.
Pit boss. He should be getting cooked to this day. So for people that don't know, Brett Favre stole a shit ton of money in Mississippi to help his daughter, and I think to build some facilities out there
That's
for the school. And it's highly illegal. And it wasn't that, he took some funds and he didn't know about it. He literally wrote in the text, how can we do this so I don't get found out? Mm-hmm. So you know what you were doing. Okay. That's one story. That's one. The other story is Dana White punched his wife. New Year's Eve. Now, for the sake of the story, she did lay hands upon him first. Okay. And he retaliated, whatever. Nobody talked about this until last week. And it wasn't even a story. Then, when it finally did come out, my man got up on the stage and was like, look, man, how y'all want to punish me? Because if you take me away from the sport suffers. So, what, you going to take some money? What do you, yeah. He was like, nobody's going to punish me more than myself. I wish, legit.
Okay.
Let's go back to Ray Rice. Mm-hmm. Ray Rice got kicked out of the league, bro. Mm-hmm. Now, I think he did come back, but it was very short-lived. It was like, yeah, man, nah. And by the time he came back, he was nowhere near what he was, talent-wise. Got kicked out of the league. Okay. Trevor Bauer, now different situation, went to court and was not found guilty for the Dodgers and went through the legal process, and he's not in the league right now. Greg Hardy, he did end up coming back in the league for the Dallas Cowboys, but grilled him for a long time. Dana White, they didn't even talk about this, bro. Not ESPN, not Fox Sports. TMZ put it out, but it was a non-story. So my point is, Kyrie makes a mistake, legitimate mistake, okay? And the world goes crazy. Nick Cannon says something on a podcast, they took away Wildin' Out from him, and then he had to fight to get it back. Dana White, the face, don't get it twisted, bro. The CEO, and maybe he's not the CEO no more because I think he sold part of the company. I don't know. I remember seeing something about that, but he still runs that shit. He's still running that shit. He's still
the face of it.
And he's still the goddamn face of that of the UFC. Sure. And the UFC is one of the biggest sports and one of the largest growing sports in America and internationally. And not only do we not say anything about it, but we allow him to smugly get up there and be like, nobody's gonna punish anybody more than me more than anybody. I gotta live with this. I gotta live with this. And we don't say, and then he proceeds to go on and talk about the rest of the fights that's on the next card. And they just, okay, yeah, all right, Dana. What?
It's weird, dude. Because
and I'm sorry for my little soliloquy, but we got to talk about this, bro.
No, you're good, man. I still don't know anything about it. I never even looked it up. Even when you told me about it, I never even bothered, to be honest.
About Dana White?
Yeah. So I'm not up. I'll be straight up with you, man. I'm not up on much of these stories. I know tidbits, dude, of everything you mentioned. Tidbits. Just for me personally, I stay away. From like media in general. Right. So
I'm with you.
Because more than, well, I guess it's standards, but it'd be standards in media, right? But what is it today, though, about media, right? That just, they focus so heavily on one aspect of something. I mean, it could be, topic related, right? Like it could be climate, it could be, it could be about the presidency, it could be about, a certain somebody, and then it'll be weeks that they focus on that, and then they don't shine light on other things. So I agree with you, though. It's like, but where are the standards in the sense of them giving light? If you're going to do it, you got to give light across the board.
And we know why, though.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course we know why.
Right.
I mean, it's an unfortunate, and especially in mainstream media.
Yep.
It's just, I don't care what it is either. It's liberal or it's conservative.
Right.
Media, right?
Right.
Because both do the exact same thing. They'll yell at each other that they're not, but they're doing the exact same thing.
Right.
They're just in different little ways.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're picking and choosing what they want to focus on and what they don't want to focus on, And I think it's a shame, because if you're going to have the standard for this said person, then you should have the standard for, again, so the Dana White and the Brett Favre situation, I know about, like I said, tidbits of that, right? But what are you going to actually shed more light on? You know what I mean? And why are you focusing so hard on one thing over the other?
Right.
We know why, but I mean, still, like, if you're going to do, you got to do it for everybody.
You got to do it for and here's my thing too.
Or don't do it at all for anybody.
You're talking about two people who committed crimes.
Right. Legit.
No, I don't care how you want it. They're crimes. Okay. One for sure, in Brett Favre. And Dana White, that's a crime. Whether charges are pressed or not, it was a crime. Okay? And you're talking about a guy who put something on Twitter. Maybe offended some people, right? For sure. But he didn't hurt nobody. He didn't take from nobody was affected except for feelings. That's it. Right? So
I feel like more and more these days, though. So, I don't mean to cut you off, man.
No, you're good.
You have something else to say.
No, you're good. You're good.
I feel like more and more these days, like Twitter in particular, and it's because it's pretty much a writing platform, right? Where you write out a sentence or two. I don't know what it is about that people get more up in arms about something that is written down,
they go
right?
on Twitter.
But you get the most crucified on that platform than you do anywhere else. And I don't know what that is about, but it's still, Instagram will have a photo, right? But it's still underneath what they said about that photo, right? So it is still about the words that are being written that people take offense to.
Right.
Typically.
Right. No, that's a fact.
Typically,
they grill the caption. The picture they don't give a shit.
Typically, it's not.
What is he trying to say here?
Yeah, it's typically not have anything to do with the picture.
Right.
It's the caption.
The caption.
And
they roast the caption. That's a fact.
Up in arms about that, right? And what's funny about that is just again the little bit that I know of, especially our social media these days, is
that's funny.
People will go back.
7,
8 years when Twitter was just a baby.
Look what they did to Kevin Hart, bro.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then they say a joke, right? And then, but what people don't understand, that's right? Funny. It still can be offensive, right?
For sure.
Even back in 2007 or whatever, right? Whatever the year is. But it probably wasn't obviously that offensive back then.
No.
than it is now.
Right.
For whatever reason,
Factuals.
we've gotten more sensitive about a particular word or a particular phrase or whatever.
Maybe more educated. You know,
or more educated, whatever. There's a whole bunch of different situations I could see.
Boom.
Yeah, I get it. But it's just so weird. Why you digging back and bringing up? It's just almost like they want. Dude, they just need to. I don't know, man. They needed to shut all this crap down, dude. In my opinion, dude, it's just so stupid to me.
To me, so my whole big point behind this is that, like, the reason I was head down in the phone right now because I was trying to see something, right? And
by the way, nobody might have noticed because you probably weren't on camera.
No, but I'm just telling you.
Okay.
So, Google will tell you a lot.
Sure.
Right? It'll tell you a lot in the sense of what's the story. Right? Google will tell you what the story is. So if you just type in somebody's name, whatever is the hot story,
what's trending.
What's trending, sure. Right? Nobody's talking about that. You know what they're talking about? Dana White, I guess. I didn't even know this. Started you know how they be doing the slapping competitions? It's called Power Slap.
That started in Russia, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or like it was really.
I've seen the videos. The videos are hilarious, but
it's crazy that's a sport. But yeah, that's
whole
a
sport.
Yep.
But he started I guess it's called Power Slap. That's the conversation right now. That's the conversation.
It's all about hitting each other.
And it's not even, right. Like how do you drive? And then the fact that nobody's like, that the conversation is like, yo,
that's
you made something called Power Slap after you just power slapped your wife, bro? Like,
isn't it ironic?
Isn't it ironic?
That's weird.
He was like, let me show you what's going to come on the show. He was advertising. And look, man, it's not to make light of domestic violence because that's a very serious thing.
No, wasn't thinking.
But it's how ironic is that like, come on, bro. And the fact that still nobody's. So my point is, Kyrie, even Kanye, bro. Like, agree or disagree, Kanye still talked about. He doesn't even have to be. He doesn't even have to. He doesn't have to say anything. They're still talking about. They're still talking about Kyrie and those things. They're still asking him questions about that in the media.
Right.
You know what I mean? Post game. So, like, why are we not holding these people, Brett Favre, to the fire? Like, it should still be talked about. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be what is the punishment? And then maybe after that, once the punishment is handed down, then you talk about that for a little bit and then move the hell on. But until there is, like, Brett Favre has not been punished. You know what I'm saying? Then I look at somebody, and I forget it. His name eludes me right now. But he played for the Redskins, or when they were the Redskins, the Commanders. Now running back Clinton Portis. Portis played for Denver Broncos. Played for the Commanders, and he served time in jail, bro, for something similar, but not really. Right. And he was able to prove that whatever, like, money they said he took, he paid back. He was able to prove that and still spent time in jail. Grilled him. Would you like peppers and onions with that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And these stories, they're just like, okay, whatever. And like, could you imagine if Kyrie was like, yo, I don't really care what y'all think. I said what I said. What? We'd still be in the backyard barbecue. You could get what kind of top? We're doing corn. We got burgers. You can get carne asada. The grill would be open.
Right.
The grill would be open. I'm over here gleeking, man. I'm getting hyped. You know what I mean? I'm getting hyped.
What's the solution? What's the solution with it, though? Like,
what do you mean?
Do you think there is because it's
yes. There is a solution, and I do want to say this. I want to say this because you do have members of the media that say an RG3 Shannon Sharp from time to time. I think Shannon Sharp was the one that brought it up initially with the Brett Favre situation. Mm-hmm. The Ryan Clarks. There's some guys out there that bring it up, that'll bring these stories.
So
because a lot of times here's what happens in these rooms. They're setting up a show, and they're gonna say, "Hey, what are we talking about today?" And it has to fly by the producers. So what it's gonna take is one of these guys. Hey, I want to talk about that. No, I ain't talking about that. You got to slide that in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like when you're on the show, it's like, man. Like they show an interception, man. He took that like Brett Favre took that money in Mississippi. Like you gotta, wait, what that? Like you gotta slide it in there. You gotta bring it up, and you gotta be a little kind of a renegade, bro.
I agree with that.
Kind of a maverick. You know what I mean?
I kind of agree with that, like the renegade part. Especially in like bigger media, right? But I think the more for me, the more of the answer really kind of lies in smaller media.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's the only way it's really going to ever be addressed anyways. Like if you wanted it to really be addressed, it's not going to come from Fox, CNN, and MSNBC. But
it should though.
It should. I'm with you. But it's not. I'm sorry, dude. It's not going to happen. It's just not.
That's fine.
Because you want. It's just like it's just like other stories, right? That you hear about, and you go, and you go, why aren't they talking about this particular whatever it is? It could be a multitude of things.
Right.
Like I heard this. Why aren't they talking about this?
Right.
It's because they talk what they want to talk about.
Right.
Or what. A lot of it's fear based, so
for sure.
They want to talk about stuff that's going to really get you feared up.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Instead of giving you necessarily all the facts, they're giving you fear.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sells. It just is. Sex, fear. I mean, legit. It is what it is.
That's a fact.
So my solution would be platforms like this.
Okay.
Right? Or and not necessarily for us in a sense, but I mean, we are talking about it.
Right.
But also, I think people that are more news based, more political based, and they're out there and they have, big followings and maybe they've covered it. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of steer clear a lot of this stuff anyways.
Right.
Just because I hear about it and I'm go, yep, piece of crap.
Right.
And then my thing is this, I'll never support that again.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I just,
1,000%.
Right. And I think that's the way most people should. Anyways, like that are really offended with something that somebody did, especially the Dana White thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, my opinion is don't support the UFC anymore.
Right.
Done.
Because that's what they would do. That's what they would do with anybody
else, right?
Anybody else, they'd be like, we not. They canceled.
People don't understand how much power we have as consumers.
Come on, man. I'm not buying the next car. I don't care if you're a fan.
It's the same thing with video games, movies.
Come on, man.
Whatever type of medium. And somebody does something at a particular company, and they're still there,
right?
And they haven't addressed the issue,
right?
I ain't buying anything from that no more.
1,000%.
I'm good, bro. I don't need, and there's probably things we don't know about.
Man, I ain't buy Papa John's in about,
Well, why?
I ain't going to eat it.
Exactly.
I'm not buying it. I don't care who. Exactly. And I know they changed, but I still feel like John's somewhere roaming around the premises. So I'm good, but again, man. I got borrows. You know what I mean?
You voted with your wallet. Is what you did. You voted or vetoed.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if Shaq got the Shaq-a-roni. You know what I mean? Fuck the Shaq-a-roni, man. Fuck that Shaq-a-roni, man.
I think people really need to take like that into their own hands as well. So if you're offended by something, just don't buy the product then. That person, or because most of these people are, either entertainers or whatever, right? It's a little bit. I guess that's a little bit harder when it's a player or something like that and they do something kind of egregious.
People still do it, bro. People don't buy tickets to the games. People they're not going to the games.
That's true.
Until they kick somebody off the team.
Right.
People do it all the time. Mm-hmm. That's why he's like, oh, you want me to step away? If I leave, it's worse. Like, okay, then let's prove it then, bro. Then let's prove it then.
And I don't agree with that statement. That's the same thing like at your job, right? You think I'm not saying you in particular, but you go into work and you'll be like, well, this place is going to shut down if I don't, if I quit doing my job. But like, no, it ain't. It might struggle for a little bit, but
that's
it ain't
how much he thinks of. And then he tried to equate it to like COVID. And I'm like, bro, that's totally different.
What COVID? What
are you talking about?
Yeah.
What? What? We and nobody said nothing, bro. All these people in the room, and nobody was like.
And then that's the other problem too. Is all
nobody
people,
was in the room.
Nobody had the balls enough to say anything and stand up and say anything. Bro.
So, nobody said nothing.
You know,
Kyrie said, "I'm sorry," but are you really sorry though, Kyrie? But are you? What are you going to do? To pay back your insult? I said, "I'm sorry." Mm-hmm. Should be enough. Like, no, you need to go to training.
That's a whole nother topic too, to be honest.
That's a whole nother topic. But I'm saying if we're comparing apples to oranges, bro.
Right.
Crime, not a crime.
Right.
Grilled.
Right. Words and then actually physical abuse. Yeah.
Putting milk in cereal, bro.
Right.
Totally different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, man. Come on, man.
You're right though, man. Standards are all out of whack, and they've been out of whack for a while. Mm-hmm. It's really unfortunate, and that's why I've steered clear of a lot of that stuff of recent years too. Mm-hmm. Not just like, oh, I decided to do this, yesterday.
Right?
No, I've really, and you know me, man. I really kind of steer clear of a lot of this stuff because I'd rather just kind of catch wind, and then if I really want to dive into something. Like I will, and I'll research about it because I'm interested of why or what happened. But most of the time I'm not interested, and I don't give a shit about the UFC anyways, to be quite honest with you, bro. Okay. So to me, it doesn't affect me in the sense like let me tell you something real quick. I never cared for that fool anyways.
Me neither.
Never. I never liked that guy, and so when you told me that happened, I went, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate that I have that reaction, but it is because it's like he's always given that vibe of
1,000%.
A total douche.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? Like, but again, to kind of circle back and kind of end this conversation is standards. Yes, if you're going to do it for one person, you better do it for everybody else, or not do it at all to anybody.
Do it at all.
Right, and not focus on anything of like that nature at all.
Nope.
What are we doing here?
Keep it strictly sports, homie.
Right. So
keep it strictly whatever it is.
Yeah, either we're going to do it full force.
Let TMZ handle that, and y'all don't report on that.
And then you guys don't report on that.
Boom.
I mean,
once you jump in the pool, bro, you got to stay in there, homie.
It's pick and choose.
Come on, man.
And I just
can't put your floaties on. You already jumped in without them.
And that I do not agree with for sure.
Facts.
Yeah. So
you guys let us know what you think. Do you feel like there are double standards in the media? Do you think we're wrong? Do you think we're looking too much into this? Do you think that people have paid their price and whatever, and we should just move on? You guys let us know.
Yeah, you guys
in the comments below, man. Whether you're listening or you're watching, baby.
You guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is The Gray Space. Peace.